Teachers of Reddit, what was the worst thing you had to confiscate from a student? My mom has had stories about what she's confiscated from lower elementary aged students, K3. The usual prank items like whoopee cushions, sure. But one time a student was playing with this weird box. The box was locked. So she couldn't put it in the confiscated bin. She put it on top of a cabinet. About an hour later, it starts ringing. Furiously. It took some doing to get the box open. Turns out, this kid's parent was a professional chef. So the kid had grabbed every timer in the house, set them for the max amount of time, locked the box, brought it to school, and played with it so it would get confiscated and ring loudly. Whole class erupted with laughter and screaming. A true agent of chaos. Edit, obligatory wow. And thank you for all of the awards. My first gold. Thank you, kind stranger. This is like professional level duckery. Middle children of the world, unite. Most dangerous, a knife from an 8th grader. Most annoying, different school than above, but a Wi-Fi jammer and a USB killing device from an 8th grader. Preschool teacher here. I had to convince a 4-year-old that his mom's wedding ring should go into a special box on the front desk instead of on the finger of a 6-year-old girl he had a crush on. Later he brought in his dad's car keys, and a bottle opener. I think I have heard things like this before. The kid actually gave the ring to the girl, who kept it, and when the boy's mother found out, she asked the other parents to return it and they refused, saying it was a gift. Outstanding parenting. One might call it a successful business venture. My wife is a teacher and one of her first graders brought her 2 hard seltzers because her mom said they're good after a long day and she deserved them. My friend taught at a prestigious all-boy high school. She was grocery shopping and buying a couple cases of wine to restock her wine rack. Of course, she runs into a student and his mother. The kids say, "Hi Ms. Schwau, that is a lot of alcohol." His mom looks at him and says, "You're probably the reason she has to drink like that." Teacher replies, "No, it's all of them." For Christmas that year, the same kid gave her a $200 gift card to a wine store. That's hilarious. Kudos to the mom for sympathizing rather than judging. I had to confiscate hand sanitizer from a student who decided to drink it to get drunk and threw up everywhere. And this is why, kids, it is important to listen in chemistry class. This actually came up in a chemistry lab. One guy heard sanitizer had alcohol in it and you could see his eyes light up. The teacher had to calmly explain why he'd probably get violently sick. Yeah, what people might not know is that an alcohol is just a carbon chain with one O group. There are infinite types of alcohols out there and the only type, that I know of, that's drinkable is ethanol. You don't want that methanol or propan-2-ol. Even sweet-tasting sugar alcohols will ruin your day. Sorbitol is sometimes used as a sweetener. It's also found in prunes and is the reason sugar-free Haribo gummy bears will make you shit yourself. Hell, even drinkable ethanol is straight-up poison. It just takes a lot more of it compared to other alcohols. The weirdest one was definitely the fish in a vase they found during locker checks. It was in an unassigned locker someone had added a lock to. Inside was a live betta fish in about as large a vase as you can fit in a locker. Fully decorated. Someone had clipped a little book light to the top of the vase, presumably so fish wasn't in the dark all the time. No one claimed to know whose if was or how long it had been there, so it lived in the coach's office for at least that year. Wait, what did the fish feed on? I think it had a jar of fish food in the locker as well. It had clearly been cared for. No one could figure out how it had gotten in unnoticed and been cared for though. Not a teacher, but a bus driver. I had to confiscate a 5th grader's cell phone a few days ago, specifically because he was showing hardcore porn to 1st graders with it. Lots of phone calls that day. A dead squirrel. I taught preschool at the time. I once did that too. My primary school girlfriend got kissed by a dude from her class and I was super mad, because he was stronger than me and I couldn't just get back at him with the same thing. The next day, I hear animals fighting on my way to school, and moments later, a squirrel falls dead from a tree. I have no idea what killed it, but it didn't look wounded. So I threw out my lunch and put it in the now empty bag. The kid who kissed my girlfriend was, and still is, a notorious liar, so when they found it in his bag, nobody believed it wasn't him, and he couldn't say anything to prove it wasn't. He wasn't even able to say that it wasn't even his bag where the squirrel was in, because he was known for stealing other kids' lunch. I guess it was my perfect crime. Since you did it as a younger kid, this is amazing. It would be weird in high school, but this is legendary. Penis-shaped glass pipe with weed still in the bulse bowl. Mom asked if she would be getting it back or if the school was keeping it. Well, did the school keep it? When I was in 5th grade, there was an active market in live bees. Some kids figured out that the weight of the average 5th grader briefly stepping on a bee, in the grass, would stun it for about a minute without actually killing it. They started going out in teams to scout bees on the field, stun them, and carefully scoop them into plastic sandwich bags. They'd then sell them to other students who'd release them in classrooms to waste class time and scare people. You could get honeybees for 25 cents a piece. Bumblebees and yellow jackets cost more. Teachers and school admin started cracking down on this. Teachers literally confiscated live bees in plastic bags from students when found, and they eventually had to start having someone watch the field to catch students in the act. Edit. A lot of people saying they had something similar, and where was this? This was East Bay Area, Northern California. If that sounds like you, it was the elementary school that had the same name as the nearby community swimming pool, and the custodian named Fred, whom everyone thought was the best. This was spring of '05, though it may have happened other years too. Gimme 5 bees for a quarter, you'd say. We wore an onion on our belt, as was the style at the time. In 3rd grade, I once had my entire deck of only holographic Yu-Gi-Oh cards confiscated from me for playing with them during break time too much with friends. I was told I'd be able to get them back when I graduated school, 6th grade. I said okay, not totally understanding what was going on. I forgot about them completely, though I still kept a vested interest in the TCG for a few more years, like into 5th grade, until 9th grade. I went back and asked my old 3rd grade teacher to return my property. Within seconds, she pulls them out of her desk drawer and hands me them. It was an odd experience. Edit. At 18.4k karma, this comment alone has given me more than 44 times my entire previous year's karma. Wow. Thanks so much, everyone. I tried to respond to as many folks as I could. This was an awesome way to spend a day off. Knowing a few teachers, I wouldn't be surprised if she had been waiting for you to come back for them. My mom taught for years and would always give back confiscated stuff on the last day of school so she wouldn't have to store it. Why not the end of the day? Seems like a pain to keep them longer than necessary. Most of the time, the kid would bring it back the next day. Of course, if they wanted it back early, they could have a parent come in and ask. Discussions about why the item was confiscated would be had. She didn't confiscate things very often. Mostly things that were just annoying, fart machines, or mean to others. Fortunately, nothing harmful like some of these stories. My mom always told the story about my brother bringing a signed picture of Richard Petty to his class and telling everyone he was his dad, 1st, 2nd grade maybe, but that everyone forgot because the next kid pulled out an antique gun. I had a similar experience, but it was with a grenade. Still had the pin it in and the whole school was evacuated. Edit. Found the news story and it wasn't World War II. My friend had a defused grenade that he took to school for show and tell. Luckily his father had talked to the teacher and explained that it wasn't active before getting permission to bring it in. My beyond innocent sister was sent to the principal's office for bringing a dildo to school and making an obscene joke gesture with it to her teacher. What actually happened was she was drinking these weird protein shots, to bulk up for cheerleading or something, we'd gotten from Costco, which came in a long, pink, fairly phallic tubes, kind of like this. When her teacher got mad and was like, "What is this?" My sister honestly said it's a protein shot and gestured to drink it. Confiscated 3 knives from one kid, but the weirdest thing was a porn video from a 9-year-old girl. She brought it to school to show off to the boys. Took it from her grandfather's stash. Big tit fantasies and anal desire. She had to read it to the short-sighted 60-year-old vice principal. I was 21, at the time. Kind of off topic, but why did you have to read it to the VP? In what world does this conversation take place, lol? VP, I had to confiscate a pornographic video from one of the students today. VP, what's the name of the video? I don't think that's relevant. VP, I said, what's the name of the video? He wanted to know if he needed a copy to add to his collection for science of course.